Meeting of Sherman County Commissioners come to order, please. First on the docket is public comment. So if anyone has
I do have a question, but I would first like to say I really appreciate you guys working with us on wanting election integrity, because it's really important to us. I mean, we don't just look at ourselves, but we look at our future, the kids' for future, you know, our grandkids and all of that. And just seeing that, you know, all that we've gone through and having children that are at that age where they are voting or they're going to vote, and just looking what their future looks like. And just the rumor of fraud is very frustrating to them, I think. And so I just wanted to say thank you for working with us to do that. I really appreciate it. I do have a question. If 100% hand count of the August 2nd primary election is not successfully completed, like it's not 100% hand count, will you guys, the commissioners, still certify the election results?
Well, it's my understanding it's going to be 100% counted
It's gonna be 100%.
by two different entities, and then if they don't match, they'll have to figure out where the discrepancy is there, and then we'll see if that matches with the machine.
Okay.
So.
Thank you. I appreciate it, and I do appreciate all of your, and Ashley, I appreciate what you're doing too. I know that's not always an easy job, so thank you.
any other comments?
Just to clarify the 15 minutes we have for public comment, we meet 3 times a week. We're elected by the people
3
to
times
run
a month.
3 times a month, I'm sorry, to do the business of the county, and we've opened that up for public comment. But I know some of you have come up to the microphone later in the meeting and we haven't responded, and we just want you to understand it is a business meeting and we opened up for the 15 minutes. But after that time, it's a business meeting. Now I know like Roberta Bretz has some questions she wants answered, and so she's on the agenda for later in the day. So if you do have something you want to go into like a discussion, please get on the agenda to do that. Just don't want you to think we're being rude by not answering you later in the meeting.
Okay. Anyone else?
I think I'll ask on that question. During the business meeting, if the public has a comment on what you're discussing, what avenue do they have to voice their opinion on what you're discussing, if you won't recognize them from the floor?
Well, once again, they can get on the agenda for next week and
So, but you're gonna vote on it, you're gonna do something, that meeting, next meeting, it's done.
you're correct.
So-
But if we debate, we're not here for, this is not a debate platform. We are here to do the business of the county. We are presenting the information we think we should have. We were voted in by the people to make those decisions. We're going to make them. We're not going to debate every issue on everything.
So if they have a comment about what you're discussing, then.
If it pertains to the subject at hand
Right.
and doesn't veer from that, we can handle that.
How do you know if you're not acknowledging them?
Well, we will acknowledge if they have a question, but if they're bringing up continuations of questions from before, then we don't,
So you knew Roberta wasn't gonna comment about what you discussed?
we did not turn Roberta down on that. We were,
She just stood there and no one acknowledged to even have a question. When you watch the video, it's like she wasn't even acknowledged.
And that's why she's on the agenda for today.
Right, but then go back to the question of if the public have a question about what you're discussing, if you're not gonna acknowledge them standing here, then how are they gonna have a comment in what you're discussing?
I think we're gonna have to give us some leadway in the fact that if we think it's pertaining to the item that is being discussed at that time.
Okay, so you're not gonna ask them or how are you gonna read their mind, see what they're asking? Because
We're gonna,
the last meeting, you didn't even acknowledge she was there. And she may have had a question about what you were discussing. I mean, you can dance around this all you want. The
Well-
question is, can the public have input into your discussion of that day or not? That's what I'm asking.
I don't know, on a business meeting, I guess I feel like if we're gonna stay on track and, you know, and we have appointments to keep, we can't have a debate forum. We're gonna get the information. We were elected by the people, do what we think's right. And after the public comment session is over, as far as I'm concerned, we need to move forward with our decision. But that's my opinion. And if somebody really feels strongly about this, the next time there's a seat open up here, I would suggest you run for it. And you'll be the one sitting here making those decisions.
Sandra Dummel. I have a question regarding some motions you guys have made in the past, and we're not being informed on where we are with them. I believe you guys had made a motion to go ahead and hire someone, another attorney, because of the conflict of interest with Brett to proceed. The understanding I have is that you guys have been somewhat given a gag order that you can't talk about it, but I just wish you would make a comment to the county so that the people don't think you just swept everything under the rug, and that you would just say simply where we are on it. Is it over? Is it in progress? Has it been swept under the rug? If you just make a comment, that would be nice for the entire county to hear where we are on this. When you don't say anything, that tends to rile the masses. So if you would just, you don't have to tell us what's going on, just have to say where we are. If it's
Sure.
over, if it's ongoing.
I
Thank
think
you.
that'd be a great question for you,
On
Dan.
that, I have an update for the commission
Perfect.
later on those issues.
Okay. Is it anything that can be shared with the county, or is it still?
Yeah, it'll be in an open
Okay.
meeting, yes.
Okay.
I think the hardest thing to understand is when you have to outsource experts, whether for just their expertise or whether it be by conflict of interest, whatever. They don't look at your emergency like we do here. They don't live here. They're like, we'll get to it when we get to it, unfortunately. And that's how it feels like, you know.
It doesn't have anything to do with, I understand, we all live in the world, we know how it moves, which is slow. It's the courtesy of just letting the people know, whether there's nothing to update or there is.
Well, apparently there is, so that's good. I get as frustrated as y'all about it, so. I know how many hours of sleep I've lost, so.
anyone else?
Good morning.
Or
On a different topic, I've had a request to have the commission district boundaries, either a map placed on the county website so people can, you know, just
Know where the district lines
decide
are.
where they, you know, which district they fall in.
sure.
Where is it located? And when was it placed? A while back?
It's been in there for,
This week, okay.
So was that just,
All right.
huh? Was that just good one?
Yeah, but.
That was.
Thanks, I didn't. Okay, I don't know if the. Don't know if the public can see the screen, but it's, at the top of the,
Election.
it's at the top of the election officers page, I believe, on the left side of the page. Thank you.
Do you have any mail that we can look at the time?
Down the chairman there. Got all the mail we have?
I tried to bring it up, I don't know if it deal with it clear.
I did receive an email from an individual in Sherman County talking about ballot drop boxes within the county. We have ballot drop boxes in the county? We have one. They're worried about security with ballot drop boxes, people stuffing them, that sort of thing.
Where's it located at? Okay.
I have just some information, so.
This letter's from Northwest Kansas Highway Officials Association. Their fall meeting is September 14th, 2022. Will be at the Greenville County Fairgrounds, in the 4-H building, RSVP August 7th.
How we coming on our table search?
Waiting for a call back.
Tell you they have one, but it'll be on back order.
So what are you thinking, like, for tables, as far as?
What we looked at was a set of 4 tables to make a square. What I don't know is whether or not the end pieces are caps or if they go in between. So it would either make the tables 6 by 5 or 8 by 3. Just depends on how they go together. On the same token, we're talking about mounting the TV to the wall and putting another table right here for the rest of us to use.
Okay. And then probably move that out of the way there. Okay. Good enough.
No other public comment, Mr. Albright?
Due to time and weather, we've had some equipment damage that is on top of the Frontier Ag elevator. We have our wireless dishes that connect the health department and road and bridge there, so that is their internet and phone. And the support cable that holds the more or less antenna wires, it is broken along with the support that it was tied to at the top of the building. The support is shared with Frontier Ag and the Goodland Police Department. We received a quote to get that repaired. Frontier Ag said, excuse me, that they did not want to fix their stuff, so it comes down to the city of Goodland and us. The estimated bill was $10,000, roughly. And splitting out our portion, which is primarily labor, we were looking at roughly $38,14 to do the repair. I've talked with Ashley. Due to the fact that it's multi-department, we do have a fund that we can take that from. But this is something that we really need to do. If that completely breaks, those 2 departments lose their communications.
So Frontier Ag doesn't want to participate. Are they going to continue to use it after it's fixed? So they don't use it at all now?
No.
Okay. Has
It's
the
just on
city-
their elevator.
Yep.
Has the city agreed to their portion?
So I met with Kent and Chief Hayes yesterday, and it looks like they're going to move forward with that. We are trying to see if there's any way we can get it cheaper, but at the moment, this looks like this is gonna be our option to get it repaired.
Is that radio on the elevator tubes or up on the head house, the square thing?
Thank you. So, it's all the way at the top.
Okay.
And so it's, the support cable's on the east side of the building, on the outside of the building.
Oh, yeah. What was the bid again? 30?
Total or our part?
Our part.
3814.
$3,814.
Is that, so when we get this new system, that won't change anything, we'll still need this?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
I don't remember where Brian's 800 was gonna go, the repeater. Okay.
Well, communication's a necessary thing,
Yep.
so.
Are you waiting for another quote, or this is pretty much gonna be it?
Waiting to see if somebody else will speak up. I've got to call out.
Okay. Well, I would make a motion that pending another vendor coming in cheaper, they can do the same job, but we move forward with this quote that you have.
So move forward with this quote being the maximum if there's something cheaper. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll second that motion.
It's been moved and seconded. Any other discussion? All those in favor of going with the bid, if we have a cheaper one, we can go with it, but that's the maximum bid is $3,814. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign, motion's passed.
Okay.
Okay.
How soon can they?
I don't have time on that.
But it is-
This has been talked about, so this bid was made May 15th.
Yeah.
It needs to be done, but no, I don't have time for it yet.
Ms. Gracie?
Thank you.
Thank you.
So last time I was here, I believe one of the issues that we talked about was I received the pipeline grant from the Kansas Pipeline Association.
Mhm.
So I dropped that check off to Ashley yesterday, and Eric was kind enough to get me a quote in a short amount of time. What I have listed here is some equipment for the backup 911 site. And I'm just kind of chipping away at each small thing that we need out there. So this'll help us quite a bit. And as you notice, it comes in right under the 1,500.
Mhm.
We just kind of picked enough items that would fit. So I'd like to let you know that that's what we're doing and get your permission to go ahead with that quote. Equipment ordered.
I think it's fine. I mean, and we won't, it's under the 1,500, so we won't need to, we don't have to have a motion on it.
Okay.
I think it
Just
looks
kind of
fine.
wanted to
good.
share what,
Sure.
we're progressing and
Sure.
pretty excited about having alternate location to go to if we need it.
Okay,
Sounds good.
Okay,
good
Thank
job.
you.
thank you.
Mr. Lovelace?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning. How are y'all today?
Good.
Good.
It rained, we're unhappy.
This is a good day when it rains, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So, just to give an update from our recent board meeting and things that were going on at the hospital. First thing I wanted to point out, this should be in, this is our annual report. And I don't think we've ever done this before, but just kind of give a report back to the community of what's been been done at the hospital. This is for the prior year, and we'll try to do this every year now and get this out. But it just talks about the new equipment we've purchased, the number of services that have been done at the facility, like cardiac rehab, occupational therapy, oncology, and so on, and all the services. And I think one of the key points on this that is important to me, hopefully is important to the community, is on the back page. We've put down in dollars and cents the reinvestment in the community, how much money from the hospital comes back into the community. So, again, this should be in everybody's mailbox. We mailed it to every address, so it should be by no later than Monday is what we were told.
Okay.
Anyway, we on this reinvestment in the community roughly have 120 employees at the hospital that receive total salaries and benefits of $8.9 million. So that's coming right back into our community. Unreimbursed care, those that can't afford their health care for whatever reason, about 1.3 million. So that's a pretty significant amount of care that's provided in our community without payment. And then support from local vendors, contracts that we can use. We try to stay local when we can. We don't have anybody here that provides X-ray equipment, things like that. But $613,000 for spent in local vendors. So just look for that in your mailboxes, and if you have questions that you'd like us to address, we'd love to hear it. So anybody from the community, feel free. We have pretty much open door there. We've talked about on the finance side that we had 2021 was probably the best year the hospital has seen, in the last 5-6 years at least, probably ever. We had from operations just about $1.2 million for 2021. With that, we knew that things were going to get a little bit rough this year. So we budgeted for less ability there to cover. So, for example, on our revenue for the month of June, we had 1.4, net revenue after all the adjustments, 1.498. Our budget year to date is 10.7, and we're right at 10. So we're just a little bit under on the total revenue. However, on the expense side, we've done well and kept that down. For the month of June, again, the budget was 1.7 million, and we came in at 1.5. So we kept under. We're trying to manage expenses the best we can. Year to date, same type of thing. Budget 10.4. That's for the midpoint in the year, and we're at 9.6 on the expenses. That leaves us with a total operating income that was slightly negative for the month of June. We were down about $159,000, and year to date about $117,000. Now this is strictly from the operations, which we knew was going to be a little bit tough. We also have our 340B income, and we have the support of the county. So when you put those numbers in, it did give us a total net income of just a little bit negative 47 for the month, but for the year we're at $735,000. So the hospital is still staying profitable, but the numbers are coming down. One of those we talked about, that the inflation was going to go up between 8 and 14% was our projection last fall when we were looking forward. And I think the recent numbers I saw from the national were about 9.1%, so we're pretty close. But when we look at our daily expenses, our cash has stayed up, which is important. In any business, cash is king, so we got to watch that pretty closely. So we are still running at 252 days liquid cash and total cash of 266 days, meaning if we had no income come in at all, we could function for this many days at the hospital. But those daily expenses have gone up about 7%, so we're staying ahead of where the national inflation numbers are, but those are there. One of the things that we've done, and I mentioned this last month we were going to be doing, we have approved complete salary review that went into effect the first pay period in July for all of our employees, to just kind of look at where we are compared to the national levels and recognizing the inflation, trying to get all of our employees with a living wage. You know, you've all experienced it. Prices are just going up and up and up. So we're trying to keep up with that by doing the salary review and adjustment, and total dollars is just about a 10% increase across the board in salary and benefits. So pretty significant what we've done for our employees, and we want to continue to take care of them. Obviously, we don't have a hospital if we don't have employees.
Nope.
So we want to take care of them. So cash is holding its own. That's a slight increase month over month, so we will continue to monitor that. Questions were raised at our last meeting. After I left, I should ask them while I'm here. But questions were raised about what is our cost with Centura, and what is the return and benefit, what do we get back? So this is just being totally transparent. We pay, the hospital pays an annual management fee to Centura of $187,000. That's what we pay. So, and what that covers, I'm just going to list a few of the things. They subsidize our flights for our specialty clinic. So we get about $130,000 a year from them just on flights. So that's a big chunk of what we're paying out. It's coming right back. They provide our HIPAA compliance and training and all that that service that's required. Again, one of those things that we have to have in place. It's required by our Centers for Medicare and Medicaid. They provide an up-to-date, which is a medical resource, medical research for our providers. Quick reference that's online, it's kept current. You know, those run a private plan is roughly $15,000. Up-to-date's about $18,000 a year. We saved over $20,000 on our Omnicell, which is our dispensing equipment for controlling controlled substances and other equipment. And you know, it's a way to track inventory and keep it under tight controls. They have been able to provide us with, or introduced us to the SLY Medical Group, which does all of our emergency offerings, and we've seen our emergency services improve significantly. Other things, savings on our supplies through a GPO. We have the same purchasing power as reference was made to St. Anthony and Denver, because of having this relationship. So right here we get the same pricing, the same purchasing that any of the bigger hospitals can get. Savings on our biomedical services, which is our annual maintenance and whatnot, has been done on all of our equipment. Trauma preparedness education, trauma survey readiness, they provide all that. They're coming and do our trauma studies for us. We have access, obviously, to their policies and procedures, which helps us. And then we are able to participate. I know Doc was here last month, and he talked about some of the things he's had, but physician leadership program he's participated in. All told, the total benefit we received back is about $224,000. So we're actually receiving more back than we're paying out. And that's
How many years are you contracted with Centura?
so we are in them and just completing our first year of a 3-year contract. So we have two years left on that contract.
Okay.
You know, it's got built in for renewal, but that's where it's at. So I think there's a cost of living increase built into it at the end of that 3-year period.
Okay.
So I just think it's important for the community to understand that Centura is here as a support. They do not make the decisions at the hospital. They don't direct anything of what we do, how we function. As our regional VP that comes out, Josh Neff pointed out to the board, he said, you know, Craig, I can call and ask questions, but if I choose to not follow that direction, I can go whichever direction I want. And the board ultimately has the say here. They are the ones in charge. So I just think it's important. I know there's been a lot of misinformation, misunderstanding of exactly what the role is. It's a resource role. I mean, that $130,000 they give us, it's subsidize on the flights alone. It's a big number to get us to the specialists that we have out there. So the other thing that we've been working on, we've got some new policies that we put into place, but one of the key policies that I want to talk about today is an educational assistance plan that we put into place. This is to allow us to help employees that to fill hard to fill positions. For example, I might be down in radiology, but if I can have somebody that's interested in becoming a rad tech, we will pay for their education in exchange for years of service. So roughly give them $5,000, then they give us a year, commit to it, coming back to work for a year. And there are repayment plans in there if for some reason they're unable to fulfill that commitment, that they would have to repay those monies. But the idea here is sometimes the reason we don't find people is it's cost prohibitive for them to get their training and get the certification, the licensure, whatever they need. So we thought this was important for us to put in place to allow us to kind of grow our own, if you will. And we all know it's difficult sometimes to recruit to rural communities, and as lovely as Northwest Kansas is on a rainy day, it's not everybody's cup of tea. So we.
When did you implement that?
We just put it in this just now. We had something like this, but it wasn't as robust. This is pretty robust. This is to allow it. There's a second part here for existing employees that are, oftentimes we'll have a nurse, for example, that has their associate's degree and they're an RN, but they want to get their bachelor's. So we have a per semester reimbursement program that works that if they get prior approval, they can go on and continue their education and be reimbursed for those classes. So first part of that is an upfront, the other part is a reimbursement. So that's to help our employees with their continuing education as well. So two parts to that plan.
Medical Foundation has had some type of this in effect for a long time. I know some nurses and EMTs 20-some years ago got assisted, so this is just improving it more.
Correct.
Yeah.
And the foundation hasn't always been able to do everything, so this is putting it right into our budget, and it's an expense. But if you think about it, if I'm having to pay a recruiter $15,000 to $25,000 to recruit somebody, why not just give that money to my employee to get the training they need? Now, it's a longer term effect because, for example, a rad tech program is at least 18 months, so it's not like I have an opening today and I can fill it tomorrow. This is really doing some forward thinking and planning, and that kind of puts the burden back on our department managers to look at their needs and do a little bit of planning. So that was that one. The masking last. The other one was just more for internal conflict resolution, just putting into place a structured format where if an employee does have a concern, we've always had the complaint hotline and our compliance hotline that they can go to. That's for patients. We've always had our occurrence reporting where we can report things that are just out of whack. Self-reporting is a big issue in healthcare. They want us to recognize things before there's a problem, but sometimes we just have people that don't get along. So that conflict resolution put into place to allow them to have a set process where they can resolve the conflict that they have. Tries to keep it inside the individuals themselves, and then to the department if they need to HR, to human resources, ultimately to me, and as a very, very last resort to the board, because that's not their role in the hospital. So that's more a housekeeping policy to just keep informed. Finally, the masking policy. You're probably all aware that we do follow what KDHE has out there, and right now Sherman County is in the blue zone, which is good as far as COVID and infectious diseases are concerned. So we have removed masks as a general throughout the hospital, except for in patient care areas. If you're in a patient care then we put into place there a follow-up for if there is a resurgence, something that we can move pretty quickly to get it back to the masking requirement.
How many cases are there in Sherman County right now?
I don't have the exact count.
I think it's 20 and,
That many?
yes, it was 10 or 12 and then
Yeah.
jumped up to 20.
So one of the issues we're seeing is the home testing, your self-testing has been pushed. And that's great. I can go get a test and check immediately to see whether I've got an issue. The problem with that is there's not tracking for the individuals.
Right.
If I do testing at the hospital, I report it immediately to the county. If the county does it, they report it. Sorry, someone's trying to get a hold of me. But if I'm an individual, there's no reporting requirement. So that is one of the issues. Is we don't know how much is being underreported right now.
Yeah.
Because there's not that real strong tracking. But we wanted to get this policy into place to let the public know, one, that, they can come to the hospital without the mask unless they're in a patient area, then they'll have to. So if you come into the specialty clinic, there's a whole bunch of patients sitting in there, you're probably gonna have to have a mask on. Obviously, if you're on the floor, you're gonna have a mask on. So if you're coming to visit a patient, put a mask on. But just to come in, be in the main hallways or whatever, we won't have that for right now. And then finally, an ongoing process that we have with our employees is employee satisfaction. It's a major part of our strategic plan, trying to measure where the concerns are and how we can fix them. So we just got the results back from our recent survey, and just one of the highlights, employee engagement is really measured with three main areas. One is their active commitment. Am I willing? Am I planning to stay for the next 2 years? That's one of the things. Their personal significance. Do they feel valued in their work? And then finally, confidence in the future. How do they feel the hospital's direction is? How's it going? So we measure this about every 6 months from the employee standpoint. Let's get in the trenches and hear what's in. One of the things that came out of this was they wanted more interaction with the leadership team, and so we've implemented a daily rounding process. So we're actually in every department every day, and that has helped a lot to get the feedback from employees. But just so you know, the national trend for this is dropping. Employee engagement is down across the nation about 4%, and I think it's a big win for us. We have stayed flat here in our hospital. So we've had our scores were 60, 60, and 59. So we dropped 1 point. That's not significant at all. 1 percentage point drop for us is roughly 10 employees. So that's, that 1% drop is not a significant number. So we're very happy with that. Doesn't mean we don't have more work to do. We do. We will continue to work on this and work to improve. But all in all, pleased with the direction that the hospital is going, and financially staying right now stable. And we know that this year is going to be rough, and we just have reported 2 quarters of negative GDP, which is technically a recession, which we figure will be happening.
So in 2021, you said it was one of your better years. Was it operations or was it federal assistance that made the cash?
That was actually from operations.
Okay.
Most of the cash that we received from federal assistance came in 2020.
Okay.
And we actually put most of that in reserve. That's what I should mention. Also, we had our audit, annual audit that came through, and they reported this last month, and we had an unqualified audit, and everything was in good shape. So that's good. So those dollars, we are right now, in fact, we are in the middle of a HRSA audit right now, one of the first hospitals to receive those federal, that have received federal funds to get those audited. Because that's what the government's doing. They're coming out and saying, did you use it properly? You're going to have to pay anything back. Ours was all based on lost revenue, which is the easiest one to justify and show when you compare to 2019. our feeling is that we will have all of those funds approved to be able to keep them, not have to pay back any of it. So that's about $4.5 million of our cash right now, so that's pretty significant.
Any particular reason 21? I mean, was there just a lot of sick people, or, I mean, why was the operation up that much?
In 2020, we had a significant downturn. Elective surgeries were gone.
Right.
We weren't able to do them, which is one of our biggest pieces of revenue. We had a general outflow from the clinic, just people weren't coming in, and so 2021 was kind of coming back.
Everybody was catching up.
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Makes sense.
And 2022, where we're at right now, our reasoning for the slowdown, right now in the summer months, we always have a slowdown in the summer, so I wasn't concerned about those gym numbers getting off a little bit, because
Sure.
year to date are still right where they're supposed to be. But, you know, we talk about burnout in business from the COVID, but we have it personally too.
Sure.
And so it's just this year is going to be a little bit tight. And where we had in the economy a major surge in 21, everybody was feeling upbeat. It was kind of we're back out in the public, we can go out and do things, and there's kind of that breath of relief. And now we're seeing the prices go up, and people pulling their belts. And, you know, we are particularly good at that in rural America, keeping ourselves within our bounds. We don't overspend. We see the slightest little bit of wrinkle in things go on, and we pull our belts in immediately. We don't wait to be told, oh, we've now had 2 quarters of downturn. No, we're already there.
Yeah.
Well, that's just the way we live. We've lived on tight budgets, and whatever we do, I mean, agriculture has always been this way, and so when things start to look a little tough, people rein it in. So
Sure.
we're experiencing that as well.
Okay.
You talked a little bit about security.
Yeah. So last month we did come and I talked to the sheriff real briefly afterwards that we needed to do that. Unbelievable to me, I guess, but we had the real focus there is we are required to have an emergency preparedness officer or emergency preparedness plan in place. And we were getting that from Centura, but with some of their acquisitions and thought that it didn't happen. Anyway, I had a gentleman resume show up at our hospital that's been doing this for 20 years, and so we hired him.
Oh.
So he will be doing the liaison with the sheriff's department, and he hasn't started yet, Sheriff, so.
You haven't talked to me?
No, I know, because he hasn't started yet. There's nothing for to talk about yet. But he will be our liaison with the sheriffs and with the police department, and so that was a real windfall for us to have this guy come with many years of experience. So,
I was just wondering how that would work. I mean, doing security with county, you know, where would the liability fall? I mean, we own the building, but that's as far as it goes, you know.
So well, this will be your employee.
This is your guy.
our employee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
I think
so,
that's a better deal.
But his interaction, he'll be our liaison with the sheriffs and with the police and with other agencies in the county, you know, EMT, fire, everybody involved in emergency preparedness in our general overall safety. So
Okay.
he's not a gun-toting security officer, if you think of it that way. He's not. That's not the role. The role is to talk about the emergency preparedness and helping us with our general overall safety and security in the hospital, and mostly being prepared for these emergencies that do come. One of these storms could hit us at any time.
Okay.
I think
Thank you for bringing that up, Ron. I forgot to do that follow-up last time.
your pamphlet that is being mailed out, I think will be great for the community because you get it from other communities.
I see them in the mail, and I like,
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so to get that back out in front of our community is I think a great accomplishment.
And I did this in my last hospital, I just felt it's important for us to be completely transparent in the community. It's important for us to communicate what's coming back to the community. A statistic that we used to quote was every healthcare dollar that's spent in the community has $1.70 economic benefit. So, for the community. So we want people to choose to get their healthcare here, but we recognize they have a choice. You can, 30 miles in any direction, you can find another hospital. And we don't want you to look for another hospital. We want to make sure we're doing the services here. So that's why this report's back out to you. This is what we are doing. We want the community to feel comfortable to be able to come and make this their choice.
Very good. Well, thank you for the update.
No problem. We'll just continue to do this on a monthly basis and kind of keep you informed and keep the community informed of what we're doing.
Okay, appreciate it.
Any questions I would entertain?
I don't have any at this time, but I'll wait till you get out of the building, and I'll think of something.
Okay, and when you do, just call me out.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Steve. All right, bye.
Yep.
Berta?
Oh, okay.
Good morning, I'll try to be, is this on?
Yep, thank you.
I'll try to be close to the mic because we're not hearing very well back there this morning.
Okay, okay.
Can you guys hear me back there? All right.
Is that just the mic?
We should have just had that mic closer to his, to him,
You
I
have to
think.
be close.
Yep. Okay.
All right, and Steve's mic might need to be a little closer to him too. We're not hearing either of you two back there.
Move it up the ladder.
Move it up the ladder. So, I went on the agenda to talk about the election a little bit, and I will open my comments for any new listeners that we are not accusing any local officials of issues. And here is my handout.
Thank you.
This does regard the ballot drop boxes. And so to confirm, Ashley, did you say we only have one drop box in Sherman County? Do you happen to have a list of the statewide counties? How many boxes are in each county?
I don't, but the Secretary of State's office would.
Okay. And so we don't have anything out at Edson or Canaredo?
No.
Okay, just the one in the alley behind our courthouse. So the concern about the drop boxes is definitely security, ballot harvesting, and other forms of fraud that take place in those drop boxes. This handout is a lawsuit that's taking place in Sedgwick County. And so the top part of it is a description of why this gentleman brought the lawsuit and a copy of the lawsuit itself. And at the end, he explains why each county should close their drop boxes immediately until the lawsuit is resolved. And so he says, furthermore, in view of the fact that the value them both amendment is a statewide election, which is part of the upcoming August 2nd primary election, which is likely to be the most hotly contested election in Kansas history since slavery, the plaintiff prays that the ruling on this petition apply to any and all Kansas counties which have failed to develop a meaningful system of compliance with Kansas state law. The legislature just recently passed a law that those boxes had to be limited, effectively limiting ballot harvesters to the 10 ballot limit when using unattended ballot drop boxes anywhere in Kansas. So, my request is, well, my first question, have there been any ballots placed in our drop box up to this point?
Yes.
Do you know approximately how many?
10?
Okay. And so this is a completely, do we have it manned?
No.
So it's a completely unsecured
It's under
drop
video.
box.
It is under video.
It is.
And what can you see in the video?
I'll let Eric.
Currently, you should be able to see the vehicles pulling up. I don't know if you can see a license plate number or not. The cameras that currently show that are coming off of the sheriff's office, because there's three cameras covering the alley area.
So it would show the back of the delivery person, would not show how many ballots they are putting in, could not control the number of ballots that they were putting in. So my request is, and furthermore, as the plaintiff in this suit points out, the system was placed in Kansas supposedly as a COVID measure. It's no longer needed. It was not needed then. And so my request is that we close that box immediately.
I had a question for you, actually. When those ballots are taken out, how do you determine whether they're legitimate ballots?
It's the same as if somebody would bring them into the office. We still check the signatures and everything like that.
So it's in a packet with the signatures and everything, and then you take it out of the packet?
Yeah, the ballot's in with a return manila envelope, and then they have to sign saying that it was their ballot and they returned it.
Okay.
If somebody else dropped it off for them, they have to complete section 2.
Okay. How long have we used the drop box? It's been there for a long time?
2020.
Okay.
Well, I guess that's a good point. I mean, it was put in kind of for COVID.
That was the excuse that was used.
So the difference would be if we closed it, people could just come in the courthouse and to your place, into the clerk's office to deliver them.
Yes. But it
Okay.
is nice for handicapped people. That way they can just drive through right up there and drop it off. Or people that are autoimmune or... Yes, I will default to Brett and what he suggests.
I'll be honest, I don't know what the rules are surrounding the ballot drop boxes, so I have to look at that. I don't know if the county has the ability to discontinue on its own. I don't know if that's a state requirement or not.
No, it is a county option. Use of drop boxes are completely optional.
Do you have a,
And there's
Do you have like a statute or a ruling or a resolution that shows that it's a county option? I
No,
mean, something we could refer to make sure it is a county option?
we can get that.
Okay.
If it's a county option, I would have no problem just confirming that. I mean, I can understand there's a convenience there. I personally wouldn't use one, but yeah, you look into that, Brett.
So according to the statute that this lawsuit brings, this requires attention, immediate attention, now that it's been brought to now that it's been brought to light, now that we're aware of it. I presume that none of you were aware of it prior to this notice. I wasn't either.
So the lawsuit has been settled or not settled, or?
It's not.
Okay.
They're waiting, that's why he said that each county should secure those boxes immediately until this lawsuit is decided.
Shows my battery's about dead.
There.
Now we hear you.
Now we hear you.
I'll be honest, we don't have enough use. If Brett finds that it is up to the county, we don't have enough use right now. I'm not against not using it, to be honest,
Okay.
so.
So long as we're sure the county has the authority to close it, I'm for closing it. Just
Yeah.
make sure that we do have that authority before we do it.
Okay. So are you willing to make a motion that pending confirmation of the information provided, that the box would be closed immediately?
I was so moved.
I'll second it.
Been moved and seconded. Any other discussion? Been moved that we immediately close the drop box if it is county's option. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion is passed.
Hold on, I also don't know if we need to address our other two drop boxes out front. I don't know how big the slots are, and if we have one for the treasurer's office and one for district court, if somebody would accidentally put a ballot in there
Out here in the lobby.
on the outside of the
On
door,
outside, on the.
front door.
Right side.
Are those, is there surveillance on those as far as cameras?
No. But
They're not designated as a ballot box, but some people just don't know and they put it in the wrong spot, so.
Oh,
So we've had
I don't-
dropped in.
I just don't know if we need to address it or not, so.
Okay.
Have ballots been dropped in those
Not this
slots?
year.
Not this year, but in the past, we have had some people.
Like in the past, somebody will drop it in there and then, well, I just realized it's in the wrong spot. If we don't know, we don't know. They check it once a day.
If it's not delegated as a ballot drop box, I don't think we have to address that, unless it really becomes a problem.
You're talking about the slots in the front door?
Yes.
They're actual boxes, they're not slots.
Oh.
It is for like paying bills.
Are they secured?
I mean, they're locked,
From inside the office.
under surveillance.
Steve? Oh, you're the chairman, I'll let you handle it.
Yes.
Could we put signs on those that say that they're not valid? Like, cause are they valid? If they get put in that, I would think that by the law, they're not valid. So to let
Not a
people know-
delegated drop box for a ballot, no.
Yeah, just to let them know. I thought we thought maybe signs were.
You can put we can put a sign up that says, but it says on there, the treasury and, district court already, so we can put a sign that these are not ballot drop boxes, but if a person walks up and puts it in a mailbox of any type, still mail in a ballot.
You can keep us posted on
What's
the,
that?
I don't know if those are valid postal type things according to the rules.
I don't think they are. I mean, they're just a drop box, they're not a mailbox.
We have to show ID.
you could keep us posted on the,
If it's a drop box, you
If it-
won't have to show an ID because you're dropping it off. Well, it is at this time, but if we close that, then they have to come in, they'll have to show the signature and the ID.
how much time did I have?
Oh,
there it is.
How much time do you need?
Along the same line, I'll try to get this enlarged. I did not make copies. And it's, you have to have really good eyes or a good eye doctor if you're gonna read this. But it, these are statistics from the Mike Lindell website. And it shows the, the computer trafficking information for all the counties in Kansas. And it is the source and routes and locations that election information went through. And for Sherman County, and I'll get a good interpretation on this and bring it to you guys at the next meeting. Sherman County information on November 4th, 2020 went through a South Carolina server. Some of these counties went through Quebec, Sweden, Japan, Massachusetts, California, South Africa, France, Brazil, many places where this information went through. And there is, for Sherman County, there's a 224 vote discrepancy between two pieces of information that they compared. So I will hone this down, get somebody a little more knowledgeable about computer traffic than myself, and we'll bring that next time. So thank you very much for your action. I will locate the statute that this gentleman refers to, and I think if you read my document thoroughly, you'll have a pretty clear understanding of it.
Good.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Magnan, would you like to update us now?
So on two items.
Make sure you get the mic close to you.
Two items that the county commission has previously made motions on or has been advised on would be my office's request of the Attorney General's office for an ouster investigation, as well as the approval of the commission to seek outside counsel due to conflict of interest with respect to repayment. I did receive correspondence from the Attorney General's office that without providing details, essentially they will not initiate an ouster investigation until the FBI investigation is complete. That answer does not surprise me, given the circumstances. Along those same lines, Rob Gale, the Hamilton County attorney, is the attorney I reached out to advise the commission on repayment options. He brought in Diane Sorensen. She's an employment and labor law and Title IX specialist attorney from the Morris Lang firm out of Wichita. I had a phone conference with the two of them and provided them with the facts and details as I knew them. The conclusion of that phone call was that while they agreed they were willing to counsel the commission on repayment without the completion of the FBI investigation, they both felt it was inappropriate and premature to provide any recommendations to the commission at this time. That would include any consultation on a repayment agreement, as the findings of the FBI investigation would impact the options that the county would have moving forward. So that's the update I have.
So hurry up and wait.
Thank you, Brett.
Checks?
This is, just starting at the top here, reviewing the 2021 inventory. So each department's required to turn in an inventory annually. Didn't know if you guys want to look at those.
Is this something we need to approve today?
Those should start your
Review,
review.
okay. Does everybody have a copy here?
No.
Okay.
All departments come in here.
I would like to review that. I mean, I'm not gonna sit and review that right now, but I would like to
Right.
review it.
I would like to look at it too, so.
So maybe we can each take a time and take it home and review it.
Okay. This is the striping bids for Highway 24. Rod received 2 bids.
Okay. Western Pavement Solutions out of Goodland is $30,433. And Straight Line Striping out of Grand Island, Nebraska is $19,695.
Quarter difference.
Big difference.
So the straight line one, there's 2 different types of paint, thickness of paint,
Yes.
types of paint. So I broke those out for you.
Right, so the cheaper one was $17,875, and the better striping is another $2,000, basically $19,006. So I read the higher bid of the two, but I guess there's really no comparison in the prices there.
No, it's
Now, straight,
$1,000 difference.
Straight Line is who we've used
Yeah,
prior, correct?
But,
that sounds familiar.
Yeah, so,
Now, don't they put like a ground glass or something in the?
Yes.
for reflection at night.
Yeah. Yeah, it's no comparison here. Applied 18 mils. 23 mils. Yeah, they were putting it on heavier.
Even the cheaper coat was heavier than the other bids.
Yep.
so. Don't think that requires a lot of discussion.
I don't think so either.
I would make a motion that we accept the Straight Line bid to stripe the highway.
I'll second that.
Moved in second, we accept the straight line bid and go with the 19,000, the
But-
heavier mill paint. Any other discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, same sign, motion passed. I had a comment of a patron the other day asked if we were gonna get that painted, so. And I only heard one person, concerned about the chips taken.
Yeah.
I brought that agreement in several months ago that I was not aware of, but when they put the mailboxes out there in the Armstrong edition, the county had agreed to chip seal that little portion of that driveway, and they did do that the other day. And then I was also asked because Tom and Mary Butler, who owned the driveway and owned that, while he was there, he quoted them to go ahead and do the rest of their driveway. So they did pay for the rest of their own driveway, because I was asked, did the county pay for all? I said, no. He did just a portion of the mailboxes, and then everything else they paid for themselves.
Okay.
So,
I don't believe they did it all at the same time and.
Yeah, they did it all.
Come in, got out.
all at once.
Here's resolution 2211, changing the meeting dates to the second and third Monday and the last
Yeah,
business
pen.
day of the month.
I'd make a motion that we pass resolution number 22.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to pass resolution 2211, meeting date change. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion is passed.
Here's a copy of the fairgrounds lease for each of you. Just to kind of review, we've used the pavilion for bigger events, endowment, alumni, things like that. So the required liability insurance on there, I believe, is $500,000. We've been asked about a wedding or a quinceanera. Do you want to lower that liability insurance? I posed the question to Brett. I don't know if you want to weigh in on that. Like, we still need liability insurance. The amount's just up to you guys.
That's correct.
What's your thoughts, Brett? What we should,
I mean, that's entirely up to you guys. My position is that to protect the county from any type of liability, you're gonna need some liability coverage of some sort. It's up to you guys whether or not you, for smaller events, if you wanna lower the required amount or just leave everything the same. That's up to you.
I have no idea what it costs for that insurance. If it's a lot less, if you lower it to say 200.
I think that we need to find out what it costs, you know, if they're in this, you know, if there's any alcohol involved. I don't know if 500,000 is enough. But, I think we need to find out kind of what an average rate. I will talk to, two insurance companies to get some ideas.
Okay,
I'll see what I can find out about that
okay, let's just
and report back.
table that then until we get some more information on that.
I'm gonna keep this.
Yeah, absolutely. Roll fire board minutes.
There you go. I did talk to Brian James by text because my phone doesn't seem to work except through texting right now. They did have a guy fly into Denver. They sent somebody there and picked him up, brought him down, and he did pick up the ambulance and headed back to New York yesterday. So we're paid, and that's,
It's
we're done with
done
that.
deal.
It's gone. Yep.
Very good.
Okay.
Then last thing was Magic Circus event at the fairgrounds. John Abert contacted us and said that he would like to host a Magic Circus August 20th or 21st out at the fairgrounds. They carry $5 million in liability insurance. They set up the day of and are done by 10 p.m. that evening. They do the advertising as well. I've checked with William. He's supposed to let me know for sure if anything is going on out there, but I doubt it.
Have they ever been here before?
I have no idea.
So they would just basically rent the facility, have the insurance.
Yep, so then that's the next question. What do you want to charge for rent?
They're they're not using any of the buildings to house anything, are they?
They would
just-
like to use the grandstands if there's a spot in front of the grandstands or a arena-ish that they could use. So I don't know if center track would work for them. I don't know. I have no idea. We have stock car races on the 20th, nothing on the 21st. So it'd have to be the 21st if they're interested.
Too bad he couldn't provide a little bit more detail on what
I have a phone number if you would like to call him.
I
Yeah.
called.
Let's
Okay.
call 'em.
Find out what all they're gonna use, cause they'll have the.
It's up at the top.
Dial 9.
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message system. 58074318441 is not available. At the tone, please record your message. When you have finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
This call is in regards to John for the Magic Circus in Sherman County, Kansas. This is County Commissioner Rod Blake. If you could give me a call at 785-821-2474, I'd appreciate it. Just have a few questions on what you require. Thank you.
How soon do they need to know?
I have no idea.
Huh?
I have no idea.
Well, it ain't until towards the last of August, so I guess we can wait and see what Rod finds out on that. Okay. What else you got, Ashley?
Checks.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep.
Holy smokes.
Ashley, is there a mutual Omaha check?
That one is a wire. See on the top corner?
Okay.
I don't know if you want to sign that wire sheet then, or what you want to do there. Okay.
credit card stuff.
Okay.
Take the top half.
This is the exact same stuff. Never emailed me. Yeah.
Those are the statements.
Okay. So people don't have to sign these? So they don't have to sign it? Oh, okay. Yep, I understand. Yeah, yeah. I was looking at this down here, but they don't. Okay.
Okay, I've got like this one, for example.
You can drag your thing off, Rod.
Why did we have to pay interest on that? Was there not
Where do you see interest?
down at the bottom, it says interest per year and then there's a current charge?
There isn't a current charge, so here, up here is interest charge and it's 0.
Okay. Both.
Down here, we had one because of the timing that the payment fell, but they did credit it back to us.
Okay, okay.
All done, Steve?
Good.
Okay, I'll make a motion to pay the bills in the amount of $53,460.84.
I'll second that.
Been moved and seconded. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Motion passed.
Here.
Any changes to minutes from the last two?
No.
I didn't see any.
Make a motion to approve the minutes as posted.
I'll second that motion.
Been moved and seconded. We approve the minutes for the last two meetings. All those in favor, or any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign.
Brad, will you tell them only August 21st if he does call you back?
Pardon me?
The Magic Circus?
Yes.
Only the 21st is available.
Only the 21st. Okay.
And you'll follow up with us?
Yep.
Okay.
Anything else? People still coming to talk? Okay. And you're gonna announce that? Okay. Okay.
Any other business to come before the commissioners? Entertain a motion for adjournment.
I will so move.
Been moved. Do I have a second?
Second.
Been moved and seconded. We adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign.